So here I'm leafing through some pictures that I was attracted to in terms of their color, saturation, and tonal range. And the themes that I'm thinking about here are revolution, both in terms of sort of the ability to affect change or agency, as well as simply things revolving, things turning. So I started using some circular forms using a warp transformation. And you can see here I'm selecting out portions of some of these other images. And doing some little surgeries there to make the arms longer. That was fun. And this is one of the things I love most about working in Photoshop is you can sort of pick and choose when you want to have things be photographically realistic and when you want to be, totally surreal. So you can see here I'm just sort of selecting chunks of these other photos, bringing them into my main composition. And I wanted to sort of develop this idea of revolution as rotation through making lots of duplicates of my layers and doing subtle changes in both the position and the rotation, as well as things like hue and saturation. So I wanted to sort of build up the atmospheric perspective to bring some elements of the composition forward and push others back. So you can see I'm making this sort of radial pattern of these kind of like cardboard sculptures that the hand is holding. And they're both through layering and through sort of a gradient of saturation. They're coming forward, probably closest in the image plane, at least right now. And then I wanted to take this sort of background leaves image and again sort of chunk that out into separate radial sections and have each one of those sort of rotating around a center point while they're also undergoing this change of both tonal range and saturation. So again, that's something that I'm using to control the atmospheric perspective where I'm sort of pushing the center of that circular pattern backwards farther away from the image plane by desaturating it and by squishing the tonal range a little bit with levels adjustments. So you can see now how sort of the outer rings of that circular pattern in the back push forward farther towards the foreground. And so here I'm doing a pretty careful selection of this flower with a bug on it and making sure that I get all the little nooks and crannies and bringing that in. And because that's already such a saturated image, I don't really have to do much to it, but I can use that to sort of bring in a foreground element in front of those hands. And then just bringing in some pattern with some of these wall drawing images and using blending modes to get those to interact with the layers below. And so that adds a nice little contrast right in the center point of that image where I'm getting this nice diagonal composition pointing right into the center, and the negative space around that pattern of green cardboard shapes that the hand is holding is just really kind of pointing you right into the center of the image. Then bringing in some similar wall drawing shapes for the background, tweaking the colors and saturations on those. That rougher image in the top right of the sky, I wanted to try a similar technique where I would duplicate and rotate. I ended up not keeping it just because I think the shape of that layer itself just didn't really lend itself to doing the same kind of rotation without just totally dominating the entire composition. So at this point, I'm just kind of tweaking some of the placements, adjusting width and height proportions of some of the layers, and overall it's looking pretty good. Take it to full screen, and I think I'm done. All right, so that is a demo version of the assignment. Hope you have fun with it.